everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for September 23rd. I'm your host, Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 26 live feeds. It was day 69 in the house, and things are a bit topsy-turvy, as we will talk about. And with me to talk about it is Scally. How you doing, Scally?
Hello. I'm so good. I'm so excited to be here to talk about some just really top level gameplay coming out of this house. Just absolute stars in the making.
Yes, truly, truly. MJ this week, of course, as you know, it's the HOH. She nominated Chemo and Angela for eviction with the intention of evicting Angela. We were like, oh man, this has the potential to be one of the worst HOHs of the season in a season of very bad HOHs. But MJ is a star. And you know what? She is not content with a maybe. She wants to go for gold. She wants to go for what is the worst possible move I can make this week. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. Is MJ going to somehow be even worse?
Yeah. Move over, Quinn. We got some new HOH potential to talk about here. Yeah. Some real interesting thinking going on in that house.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, listen, the fact is, there's not that much of a difference between Angela and Leah. They're both winning competitions. They're both targeting not MJ and Chelsie. I mean, they are targeting Chelsie and not MJ is what I meant to say there. So functionally, there's really not that much of a difference apart from the fact that, maybe you could argue that Angela's easier to beat in the end, and therefore there is some value to keeping her there. It's just that for MJ in particular, Leah leaving is worse because Angela is less of a target in front of her. I just want to make this clear. Even though I think that from the outside, targeting Leah looks so much significantly worse, I actually think that targeting Angela was already basically that bad. Targeting Leah is just like, it just looks a lot worse and is a bit worse because now she doesn't have the target in front of her. But it's still just really, really bad. It just already was really, really bad.
Yes, definitely already was really, really bad with how things stand now. I guess the thing with Angela is there's always the chance that someone could say 3 words to her and she's like, you know what, you're right, MJ is the worst. So not seen to be the most consistent player throughout the season. So already bad, but I think this is definitively at least one step worse.
Yeah. Okay, well let's talk about it because what are we talking about here? Well, of course, with Angela and Chemo on the block, with Angela as the target, MJ won the veto and did not want to use the veto. Chelsie tried to convince her take shot at Leah. And honestly, similarly with Chelsie, like Angela is coming after Chelsie, so is Leah. There's not that much of a functionally different, result for getting either one of them out here. Beyond the fact that you could argue that Leah might be better at comps. I mean, Angela's one more, but like, it's either or. Again, for Chelsie, getting Angela out, getting Leah out, it's more so just like the knowledge that she can get Leah out that is like the thing that's clinching her hold on the house more so than the actual result of Leah or Angela because they both need to go for Chelsea's game.
Yeah, it feels like you would be able to convince people to more reliably target Leah next week, but Leah also may be able to more reliably convince people to target you. Whereas Angela maybe doesn't hold as much
Right.
sway or more so, able to form logical arguments.
Hmm. So Chelsie feels this way, but for the record, so does Cam and so does Rubina. And we'll talk about Chemo. So basically what happens here is that Chelsie and Cam, Chelsie was facing some difficulty trying to do this on her own. She's gonna bring in some big guns here. Cam's gonna join her. Both Cam and MJ in the early portion of the day are going to push MJ to use the veto and get Leah up on the block. And a big new argument that they can make is that she was up late last night working on chemo and Rubina, which we know she was primarily just talking about how thoughtful Quinn is. Um, and but from in their minds, she's talking about other big things like strategy. So she's only out for herself, they say. And Chelsea says, if you're worried about jury management, you should worry about everyone else on the jury and not just Leah. Leah's just one person. You make one person mad, but then a bunch of people happy, which is a terrible argument, but it's one that lands with MJ.
Yeah, it's so interesting because in this conversation and basically every other one, Mackenzie is consistently listing, I would say about half of the reasons of why she should not be evicting Leah, or really Angela. You could apply them the same, but she doesn't get all the way and seemingly is starting to back off of those reasons and have them torn apart in her mind.
Yeah, because the argument is you'll piss off one person, you'll gain a bunch of others. Except who are the others, right? Like you're not getting Quinn, you're not getting Angela. That's already 3. That's 3 of 7. And
Uh,
let's be real. Are you getting T-Core? Not against Chelsea, and you know that. That's 4.
yeah,
That's it.
it's bad. It's bad. And like even beyond that, you're not much less likely to get to the point where those votes matter. So, like,
Listen. That's so far beyond her scope right now. She's already imagining herself in the final 2 with Chelsea counting jury votes, and that's like, you know, the thing she's actually looking at is also wrong. She's also missing a bunch of stuff, and we can criticize her for that, but it's what like it's almost more excusable to not see something, but when you actually do see the thing
yeah.
and you're just like, yes, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4 votes I don't have, I win.
I think MJ would have benefited from Janky World continuing because it seems like that was the one week she was thinking kind of clearly. Maybe it was worth it.
I'm telling you, it was the tinfoil hat. Uh, MJ says, and you're right, she pretty much says all of the reasons why she shouldn't do this. She says, well, I'm worried that while people are after Leah right now, they won't be after Angela, which is, and again, I will say, this is, I disagree with her jury management nonsense. I don't even think that's a valid argument in the first place. I think that her current thought process is wrong going one way and wrong going the other way. But the actual one reason why I think it doesn't make sense for her to target Leah is, well, I guess there is a jury management aspect to this that I don't think has been mentioned. Well, of course, hasn't been mentioned, which is that this does just make her look like a puppet in the game and makes her a lot less likely to get the votes of Leah and Quinn. Not because she betrayed them, but because she looks like she was puppeteered to betray them, and it makes her look very weak as a player. Um, However, the actual tangible strategic positioning argument that I would make, the only one, because again, I honestly think that taking out Angela is nearly as bad as taking out Leah, is that she says people are after Leah, maybe they won't be after Angela. And so this is the best argument, I think, to not do this move. And it's countered pretty easily when Cam says, no, I think they'll go after Leah, or I think they'll go after Angela too. She goes, okay.
Okay, yeah, you know what? Actually, never mind all of the arguments I made. Yeah, I mean, if Leah goes to jury and doesn't want to vote for MJ, it's not because she's necessarily bitter. It's because this was such a bad move for you. And I know how bad of a move for you it was because I know I wasn't targeting you and I made that explicitly clear throughout the season. So it's not I am bitter because you evicted me. It is I know how dumb this move was firsthand.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Um, Cam says that they're all going after Leah, and listen, everyone is aware that Leah is trying to play everyone. She's trying to play everyone, listen, MJ, everyone is aware of it. And I'm just like, I'm aware of it too. No, that's me. I also see that Leah's trying to play me. I'm not. I'm smart. I am very aware when people are trying to manipulate me. She says to Cam and Chelsea.
Yes, yes. Oh, she had a final two with everyone in the house, not me. I knew that. I definitely knew that.
She says, I just really don't want Angela to stay. That's the only thing. And they continue to try to reassure her, like, don't worry about it. Everyone's targeting her next week. It's gonna be fine. I'm just like, I'm just not sure. And so she hasn't really made a decision yet. It's the doors seem to have opened, but she's just kind of peeking through. She's not sure she wants to do this.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying just to see that this was an option for her. Again, like you said, it's already was going to be bad, but you'd think, okay, well, maybe there's some world in which, we've gotten this far. Obviously, the veto's won, whatever, but there was hope before that. But now things have come crashing down even further.
Mm. So MJ talks to Rubina about it. It's like, "Hey, Rubina, how you feeling? What are you thinking?" They talk about, like, who would we like to see in the final 3? Rubina says basically, like, the 2 of them and Chelsea would be great, be making history, because that's definitely true, historians. She says, and listen, I would totally target Angela next because MJ's like, I'm thinking about using the veto and putting up Leah. She's like, what? Well, that's such a great idea. I would totally target Angela next. I'm sure Chemo would too. Like, I think this makes a lot of sense. Um, and MJ's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I've just been hearing about some of the stuff that Leah's doing, and I'm sure that late last night when she was talking to you, she was talking to you about like teaming up and targeting me and Chelsea." And Rubina's like, "I not really, but she's definitely talked about Chelsea before, so that's almost a little bit true."
Yeah. And don't ask who I'm going to have to use as a pawn when I do target Angela, because that is none of your concern.
Rubina does a good job here to maybe not back up the facts, but back up the emotional component of like, we've got you. This is a good move. I like this.
Yeah. Definitely Rubina pulling the weight of her duo here today because, at least good social work was done here.
Hmm. Um, So there was a bit of a hubbub about Leah overhearing Chelsea having a conversation about her with a few other people, but she didn't really catch the content of it. Just that it was like probably bad. Doesn't really go anywhere, but it was a big topic of the day, so I figured I'd bring it up.
Yeah, it was very much like Rubina's like, "Is anyone else in the backyard?" Chelsea's like, "No, no one's here." Leah's sitting upstairs, like she hears that they're whispering and that things go quiet when she finally exposes that she is in the backyard, but she doesn't hear anything of consequence.
Yeah, people thought maybe she like overheard that she was getting backdoored and that she might do something. That no, didn't happen.
No,
Um, they do go and watch the movie crew. They liked it.
I've heard great things. I personally would love to see it this weekend.
I was saying this on stream last night that like I had heard about this movie before it started being advertised on Survivor and Big Brother, and I
Yeah.
was like, "This sounds like a fun movie about a robot." Heard it's very good, and then for whatever reason, the fact that it's being advertised on Big
Oh,
Brother and Survivor,
same.
just
I was
like
like,
mental association. I'm thinking like Jack and Jill. I'm thinking MacGyver.
yeah, does this movie have 3 times the Rotten Tomato score of any other movie ever advertised on
I'm like,
Big
wait, this is
Brother?
like a serious movie that's supposed to actually be good.
Yeah. It made me wanna see it less, I will admit, but I don't know. I am floored. This, I think, best movie ever advertised on Big Brother and Survivor? Question
I
mark?
think it might be. I'm not listen, we went over some options last time. I think there were actually some surprisingly like decent picks before, but like in terms of like critical reception,
Yep.
I think it might be.
Good. I'm excited. You know what? And I famously anti-trailer person, so I hate that I may
Mm,
have to mute a small section of the episode.
right?
But
Anyway, uh, Leah eventually does talk to MJ. And uh, she basically does not know what is happening, and is still on the first bad decision that MJ made. Uh, she's like, "Listen, this is a big mistake because if you don't use the veto on Angela, they're gonna vote Angela out, and Angela leaving is bad for us. We're losing a number."
yeah, bad for me and you. She would never come after us. It's very much like, I'm not going to tell you what to do because it's your HOH and I'm fine with whatever happens. But it would be devastating. We would lose the game this week if you sent home Angela.
Now, honestly, this was like not the worst pitch in the world for herself. Also, sometimes like actively, consciously pitching for yourself is less effective than accidentally pitching for yourself, if that makes sense. Because when you're actively pitching for yourself, you can assume that there might be like hidden motivation, like not even hidden motivations, but like there's an ulterior motive. You're trying to save yourself. You can say anything. But when you think you're safe, when somebody thinks you think you're safe, there's the context makes it seem like you're being more honest generally. It doesn't always work that way, and there are plenty of disadvantages because you don't know what to be arguing. But sometimes it can be more effective, and in this case, it almost was because she's talking about how she's making all of the correct points about why it doesn't make sense for Angela to leave, and that if you take Angela down, you make sure that she stays because if you leave her on the block, then Cam and Chelsie, they're going to vote together. They're going to vote her out. Rubina's going to vote her out, and we're going to lose Angela, and it's going to just be us left. And it's like we need to save Angela. And but either way, I'm with you. Like I love you. Like I'm ready to play this game with you. Like we're gonna make it through this together. Like so on and so forth. And she wraps up the pitch, and afterward, MJ is like, oh, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can put Leah up. She goes to Cam and she's like, "Cam, I don't think I can do it. I let my heart take over. That's just me. I just have such a big heart." And she's like, I do think that Leah is on my side. I think that might be the case."
Yeah, and I was glad to see that MJ, in fact, was listening because to me, it
It
looked
did
like she
not
was
look like
more
it.
more focused on her split ends or something. Like she was just completely, yeah, like so I was encouraged to see that some of it had made it in, but how long is that going to stick for?
Not long. Cam says, "Well, listen, remember, she's going behind everyone's back and talking about everyone. And part of Leah's pitch was use the veto on Angela and put Rubina on the block as the replacement. She's not even gonna try for Chelsie, right?" And so Cam says, now she's trying to get Rubina on the block after she's been talking to Rubina all night long. Like that just goes to show how two-faced she is, right? Like this fake scenario that she's been put in is proof that she right. And MJ's like, "Oh, I just really don't want to do it. But now I feel like everyone's gonna be mad at me if I don't. What do I do?" And Cam says, "You're gonna listen. I know you feel weird about this now, but after it happens, you're gonna talk to her. You're gonna confront her about all those lies. Chelsea's gonna talk to her. She's gonna get all flustered. You're gonna feel much better about it. I promise." She's like, "Okay, yeah, okay." I mean, I'm leaning toward doing it. I'm leaning toward doing it. And he's like, "Yeah, people are gonna respect this move. Everyone's gonna have your back next week. This is gonna be great."
Yeah. You know what you should do because you're worried about her being mad about it? You should blindside her. That would be good. A classic. Good. You wouldn't even have to deal with any of the consequences except for the 4 days that come after the veto ceremony. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So she's back on track, and she wants to talk to some more people. So she brings in Chemo, and this was perhaps my favorite conversation of the day because she tells Chemo, Chemo, I'm thinking about using the veto on you and putting up Leah. And Chemo's response, bless his heart, oh, is that good for your game though?
Keep out. Oh my god. He had one decent week last week where he kind of asked for the veto to be used on him, and now he is almost convincing people not to use it on him. It is so aggravating that like all you should be doing is like, yes, best move for your game ever. I have your back. I'll work with you forever. Final two, love you. You're amazing, girl. But no, this was so aggravating.
It was just the sheer amount of stupidity of the move was too much for him to handle. He couldn't pretend that he thought it was a good idea, even though it directly benefits him.
It's honestly mind-blowing. Just smile. Could have said nothing. Just literally nothing. Did take one from T-Course, but yeah, just like let her use the veto. It's fine. Do anything but what you did.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, he was eating more. You're right. But it was very funny. Because it wasn't even just the initial reaction. Like genuinely throughout, he was doing his best to be like, "No, yeah, totally, I'll have your back moving forward." But like, you're sure about this though? You don't
Yeah.
wanna talk
And even
to
when
you're gonna talk to anyone else about this? Like,
she's like, "Chemo, do you think it's a good move?" He's like, "It maybe." Like, just say yes.
oh man. So listen, he does what he needs to do in the conversation. But
Low
I just
bar.
thought it was so funny.
Very, very low bar. And attempted to knock it down. Luckily, it was glued in place.
Um MJ goes back to Rubina and says she's thinking about doing this for sure. And Rubina is a lot more reassuring. Again, really like helps again like fulfill that emotional side of it of like, hey, this is the right move. You don't worry about the response. You're gonna be making everyone happy. Um, and it's just like it's just again, this is the kind of move that I would say only a person not familiar with the show would make, but Quinn existed. But Quinn wouldn't be doing that. Quinn wouldn't have actively targeted. Quinn made the mistake of thinking that Joseph was safe to please the house, but he would never make the move of I'm going to actively target Joseph or Leah or whatever. I will maybe stand by it that only a person not familiar with the show is capable of making a move like this, being like, well, everyone else wants Leah gone and I don't. And she benefits my game and not anyone else's. But if I do what they want on my HOH, then they'll do what I want on their HOH. It's like a trade.
This is a BB can HOH. Like
Truly.
where someone tells you, Mackenzie, if Leah goes up, they might put you up with her. And she's like, oh, well, they can't put us up together if she's gone. Like, okay, well, then they'll just target you.
Um, so MJ talks to Rubina, then MJ goes to Angela. And Angela, of course, is pitching for the veto to be used on her. And MJ kind of counters by talking about Leah. And it's very reminiscent of like when they made the move on Quinn and they just start dumping all of the stuff, right? Hey, Angela, guess what? I've been hearing about all these things that Leah is doing. She's talking to people and having conversations with them and saying stuff behind people's backs and making deals. And, she's even, the only reason she used the veto on you was to get you as a number. And it's like that we already did this.
Yep. Yep.
These are all the same things. And just like, oh my God, I feel sick to my stomach. I can't
This is
believe it. So you're using the veto on me and putting Leah up? Oh my God.
yeah. And that's the thing is that it seems like there's some hope because this could be bad, but at least the veto is getting used on Angela, right? From her perspective. That's why you're telling me all of this? Because otherwise you would clearly blindside me along with Leah.
So MJ just continues to go there, and at the end of it, Angela's basically like, "Listen, whatever you want to do, I support you," so on and so forth. But the conversation happens, and now like the move is really locked in at this point. Like everyone knows except for Leah. And MJ is gonna come back into the HOH room afterward and tell Chelsie like, "I did it. I told her, and she knows." Chelsea's like, "Wow, oh my god." Chelsie tells the
Honestly,
cameras afterward, she's like, "This is crazy." I
nuts.
can't believe she's doing it. I sh even Chelsea's like, "I mean, I think it's the better move for her, genuinely, but it's crazy that this is happening. I can't believe I convinced her to do this."
Yeah. And I think a lot of people I saw online starting to question Chelsea after Janky Week, maybe saying like it's all bad players in the house, lumping her in. And I think this week has definitively turned that around. Like very, very, very good on Chelsea to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I think listen, we've been waiting. We have been starving for strategy. And I was like so like because I will say again, I think MJ targeting Angela is nearly as bad as her targeting Leah. And there's actually, I would say, there's an argument to be made that it's not even actually worse to target Leah. I,
Ooh.
I don't necessarily agree with the argument, but like given MJ's situation, there is a world where like she loses to Angela in the final two, but beats loses to Leah in the final two, but beats Angela in the final two, and therefore keeping Angela means that she still has a chance to win this game because she might get to the end with Angela in the final two somehow, some way, right? Um, Again, I don't subscribe to that argument, but either way, what I'm saying is that I really don't think there's a significant difference between the mistakes of these two moves. But my issue was that MJ came up with the Angela move all by herself. And it was just regular, everyday Big Brother 26. These people just keep shooting themselves in the foot. So luckily, thank you, Chelsie, for coming along and actually convincing her to make a mad move so that we have some actual strategy movement here. It's we can't listen. This is certainly an all-time bad move from MJ. But at least we can now say that she both made an all-time bad move on her own and was also then convinced to make another all-time bad move.
Yep. Yep. And it keeps the veto streak alive. So there's that as well. So many things to be thankful for here.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it did seem like last week when Chelsea was unable to sway the vote with T-Core, that it was starting to look like what is going to happen here with Chelsea. But she has a rebound week this week, and again, quite frankly, I think that I said this last night. I have a hard time genuinely seeing anybody but Chelsea win this game right now, just on positioning alone. It's just there's no way for her to leave in the double. And even after the double, there's like every single person in the game would always evict somebody else. A lot of people are looking at taking her toward the end. She beats pretty much everybody in the end. Um, I, like I'd put serious money down that Chelsea wins the game.
Yeah, it's so hard to imagine any way that that does not happen, barring some big random twist that Big Brother puts in, which I don't put past them. um, looking at the field, yeah, I don't know.
I do though. I will say what I do want to not ignore the contributions of the other players here. I think this is a good move from Cam to get Leah out over Angela. I think that this benefits him in the same way that like it's possible Cam loses against Leah, but Angela is an alternative person for him to go to the end with, assuming he doesn't want to just go to the final two with Chelsea and lose. I think this is better. And Cam definitely played a significant role in convincing MJ, especially when she started to waffle. And it wasn't until Cam joined Chelsea's efforts that MJ actually changed her mind and was willing to go against Leah. So, if anything, you might say that like this might not have happened without Cam at all. It obviously benefits Chelsea way more, and she's the sort of architect of this whole thing. But definitely credit to Cam there, and credit to Rubina as well for doing exactly what she needed to do in this spot to convince MJ that she should be doing this. Um, and Chemo was there too.
Yeah, Chemo was there,
He
almost
existed.
actively hindering his own benefit. But yeah, he existed.
All right. Well, anything else to talk about, Scally?
No, I'm just interested to see how this goes. I'm hoping that if and when this does happen, Leah gives us some fun because I'm a little worried that we might just get some blanketing, kind of similar to when Quinn gets blindsided. She seems pretty upset there. So I'm hoping she can turn it on and we get an interesting rest of the week.
Yeah, so I will say this too. And I don't expect this to be an issue, but just because we're only 30 minutes in. That's there's a thought that crossed my head. I've seen this sort of thing before, right? A little bit reminiscent of like a Netta in season 2 of Big Brother Canada, where like um this is Chelsea getting her way in a spot where it actually didn't make that much of a difference. And again, I like for me, I'm happy this happened because we got some actual strategy. But there was a situation in Big Brother Canada 2 where the most influential player basically proved that they were the most influential player by taking out one of their allies' people over one of their people. And at the end of the day, it didn't matter because they all got evicted anyway. But what it did was prove to her ally that she was looking out for herself and pushing her own agenda. And even though it didn't seem like that ally cared about it, at the end of the game, they started thinking, and that may have been the thing that pushed them over the line. There again not necessarily thinking that this is going to happen, but this does open up the possibility for Chelsea to take a little bit of heat. If Leah goes up on the block and says to MJ, what an idiot you are. You're just giving Chelsea the win. And then spends the rest of the week talking about Chelsea as the obvious winner, as the person who is manipulating MJ to do this. Again, I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's going to save Leah. And I don't think that MJ is going to like accept it. But those are seeds that could be dropped to any one of the players in the house that could grow into bigger things as the weeks move on and people start thinking about the cash at the end of the game. So that's something that Chelsea will want to watch out for this week. There's again small likelihood, small possibility that we look back and we say, was this a necessary move considering that Leah was everyone's target next week anyway, and Angela going out was perfectly fine. But as I said, I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
still tough to see Chelsea losing this game anyway. But it's as a concept in Big Brother strategy, something that I still find interesting. So
Yeah.
maybe something to look out for. I'm grasping at straws here. We're
No,
Big
that
Brother
is
19ing it right now.
that is the thing is in Leah's conversations with MJ, she very much is like, I want to work with you. And Chelsea, I was trying to do that, but she's not really giving me a whole lot of reason. Do you think she's with me? Question mark. Like very much fishing for information. She can tell that Chelsea is not really with her, even though she tried to build that bridge last week. And so I do think if it becomes clear that that is not an option for her, and Chelsea is the one who really pushed to get her up, Leah may go ahead and just completely burn that bridge and expose what she really thinks of Chelsea and her game. But I'm waiting to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that is what we have for you then here today on the Big Brother update. I will be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 26 live feeds, including what the fallout is from this veto ceremony where Leah will be blindsided, what she's going to say, so on and so forth. So tune in for that. Might be dramatic, might be boring. Who knows? You'll have to wait and find out. And then, of course, tomorrow night's another roundtable. Should be a fun one. Wednesday, we'll get some Survivor, some Big Brother. I'll be live on Twitch watching them both. It's going to be a good time. And yeah, tune in for all of it. Find all our scripted coverage going on, the tastemakers, rings of power, all that good stuff. Scally, what do you got going on?
All right. Anything I'm doing will be on Twitter at Brian_Scally and on Twitch at twitch.tv/bscally. Myself and Matt Lagori are talking about season 40 of The Challenge on the Free Agents podcast, so people should go check that out. Also, myself and Puyo will be live tonight after the Traders Canada premiere. So very
Ooh,
excited
speaking
to
of Netta.
see the aforementioned Netta, as well as Melinda Verga from Drag Race and many others. So that is super exciting. And then I will be seeing you again Wednesday night after the episode. So see you then.
Oh, Scally's gonna join me for the late one.
Oh, there we go.
So, I have to watch Netta. How do I watch Traders Canada?
I think that the RHAP Discord may have some answers for you.
Okay, there you go. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here today, and I will see all of you next time.